Every problem you have accepted as permanent has already been solved, not by a tech startup, not by a government initiative, not by a billion-dollar research program, by Japan, quietly, decades ago. While the rest of the world was filing complaints and scheduling meetings to discuss the feasibility of addressing the issue, Japan was already field testing the solution. 42 ideas, everyone already working, everyone available right now. This is Kaizen at the scale of an entire civilization. Let us get into it. Number 42. The Genkan Threshold. Your shoes carry E. coli, pesticide residue, and the biological record of every surface they touch today. Japan built a recessed entry zone into every home where shoes are removed before the step up into the interior begins. The step is not decorative, it is a contamination barrier built into the architecture. One step eliminates what floor cleaning products spend years trying to address. One step eliminates what floor cleaning products spend years failing to address. The next idea addresses something even more invisible than what shoes carry in, and it is already accumulating in your home right now. Number 41. Morning ventilation. Japan opens every window for 10 minutes every morning. Carbon dioxide, cooking vapors, skin cells, and airborne biological matter from the sealed overnight interior exit before the cleaning begins. Fresh air first, everything else after. 10 minutes of open windows does more than an air purifier running all day in a sealed room. What Japan does next costs nothing either, and it has been solving a problem that every other country still considers unsolvable. Number 40. The non-drip Kikkoman spout. Every condiment bottle in the Western world drips, has dripped, will drip. The Kikkoman spout, designed in 1961, features an angled inner lip that creates a surface tension break at the end of every pour. The liquid contracts back into the bottle. The bead does not form. One geometry change. 60 years without revision. The rest of the world still drips. One geometry change. 60 years without revision. The rest of the world still drips. The next idea has also been working for decades, doing something so fundamental that most countries only installed half of it and called it done. Number 39. Tactile paving. Two textures. Two meanings. Installed without exception on every sidewalk, every platform edge, every public building entrance in the country. Raised parallel lines mean walk forward. Raised dots mean stop. Invented in 1965 by one engineer for one blind friend. Now a global standard that most countries installed selectively and Japan installed everywhere. Independent mobility classified as baseline infrastructure, not charitable accommodation. The ground navigates those who need it most. The next idea gives a different kind of warning, not through the feet, but through every phone in the country, in the seconds before everything starts moving. Number 38. Earthquake early warning. When a fault slips, Japan's seismometer network detects the harmless P wave and calculates the arrival time of the destructive S wave before it reaches the surface. Every phone in the affected region receives an override alert bypassing all silent modes. 5 to 30 seconds of warning. Enough to get under a table. Enough to survive. Physics turned into warning time. Physics turned into warning time. The next idea turned something completely different into medicine. Something so ancient that the fact it required scientific validation says more about the rest of the world than it does about Japan. Number 37. Shinrin-yoku Forest. Bathing Japanese medical universities confirmed that 2 hours of slow walking through dense forest lowers cortisol, reduces blood pressure, slows heart rate, and boosts immune function through phytoncides. The airborne oils trees release naturally. Japan built government-funded designated trails, rest stations, and trained guides to deliver the intervention to stressed urban populations. No equipment, no entry fees, no prescription. The forest was always there. Japan built the path in. The forest was always there. Japan built the path in. The next idea builds something else into the neighborhood itself, something most cities only send in after the fact. Number 36. The Koban. Neighborhood police box. In most Western cities, calling the police initiates a dispatch process measured in minutes. Japan stationed officers in small neighborhood boxes at key intersections throughout every urban district. Officers serve the same koban for extended periods, developing detailed knowledge of their specific territory. Response time is under 2 minutes. Not because the officers are faster, because they are already there. Already present beats dispatched from elsewhere every single time. The next idea is present at every street corner, every mountain summit, and every hospital corridor, providing something nobody expected a machine to provide. Number 35. Vending machine diversity. 5.5 million vending machines, one for every 23 people. Fresh bananas in padded dispensing slots. Hot soup at 55 degrees beside cold beer at 4. Fresh flowers refrigerated to florist standards at midnight in hospital lobbies. Emergency supply machines that dispense everything for free when a natural disaster is declared. Japan built provision that operates without staff, without business hours, and without the assumption that everyone lives within access of a conventional retail environment. Provision without staff, available without hours. The next idea provides something to an entire street without walls, without climate control, and without any of the compromises that indoor retail demands. Number 34. The Shotengai Covered Shopping Street. A historical city street, sometimes kilometers long, lined with independent local businesses, covered permanently by a glass or metal overhead roof. Torrential rain is irrelevant. Snow is blocked. Summer heat is filtered to ambient light. The authentic character of street-level local retail is preserved intact beneath the roof. Japan built the hybrid between outdoor authenticity and indoor practicality by adding one element rather than replacing one environment with a fundamentally different one. A roof over a street preserves everything below it. The next idea preserves something below a different kind of surface entirely, in the space that every home already owns and nobody in the West thinks to use. Number 33. Underfloor storage panels. Every floor sits above a structural void that Western construction leaves empty. Japan opens it. Hinged panels flush with the floor surface lift to reveal clean, accessible, ventilated storage cavities below. No visual impact. No furniture required. No floor space consumed. Storage below the floor means nothing cluttering the floor above it. Storage below the floor means nothing cluttering the floor above it. The next idea clears a different kind of surface, the one above ground, using a solution that goes in the opposite direction. Number 32. Underground automated bicycle parking. Thousands of bicycles choking a station plaza every morning. Japan buried them in cylindrical underground silos beneath the sidewalk. A robotic arm parks each bicycle in under 10 seconds. Retrieval takes 15. The sidewalk remains completely clear. The bicycles are protected from weather and theft. The surface problem solved by going underground. The surface clears because the solution went underground. The next idea solves a surface problem without going anywhere. It just runs faster than any cleaning operation you have ever seen. Number 31. The 7-minute Shinkansen cleaning. 12 minutes at the terminal. 5 to disembark. 7 to reset. A synchronized crew bows to the train before boarding. Every seat rotates automatically to face the outbound direction. Tray tables wiped, headrest covers replaced, floors swept, bins emptied. They bow again to the arriving passengers when they finish. Every passenger boards a train that could have just come from the manufacturer, regardless of how far it has already traveled. A bow before the work and a bow after it, every single time. The next idea treats a different kind of disruption with the same level of accountability, and the result will make every Western construction site feel like an act of public aggression. Number 30. Construction site apology culture. Solid decorated barrier walls. Acoustic scaffolding sheets. Workers bowing to pedestrians and guiding foot traffic around the site. A formal apology sign. A live decibel meter proving legal compliance. White noise machines instead of reversing alarms at night. Japan decided that causing inconvenience through development creates an obligation, not a permission. An apology sign and a live decibel meter change the relationship between the builder and the neighborhood. The next idea changes the relationship between the transit system and the passenger, specifically by treating 60 seconds of delay as something worth formally apologizing for. Number 29. Train punctuality and the delay certificate. The average annual delay on major Shinkansen lines is measured in seconds per journey. When a train falls 60 seconds behind schedule, the conductor announces the delay immediately and expresses formal regret. The company issues official delay certificates for employer presentation. 60 seconds late requires a formal apology and a certificate. Because 60 seconds late is a service failure, not a baseline condition. 60 seconds late requires a certificate. The next idea requires something else entirely: more information, delivered faster, to more people, in more languages, simultaneously. Number 28. Information-dense signage Shinjuku Station. 3.5 million passengers daily. Over 200 exits. Japanese signage assumes the traveler can process multiple simultaneous pieces of information and that more accurate data reduces confusion rather than creating it. Each exit sign lists the specific landmarks, bus connections, street names, and accessibility features accessible through that exit. Systematically multilingual as a long-standing infrastructure standard. Dense information moves people efficiently. Dense information moves people efficiently. The next idea moves waste efficiently by solving it at the moment it is created rather than after it accumulates. Number 27. Integrated kitchen waste sorting multiple waste categories, each collected on a specific designated day. Sorted not at the bin, but at the moment of generation. Purpose-built labeled compartments integrated directly into the counter unit, sized for their specific category, lined with the correct bag type, positioned in the flow of food preparation. The behavior follows because the physical environment makes the correct action marginally easier than the incorrect one at the precise moment the decision occurs. Design that makes the right choice easier changes the behavior automatically. The next idea changes a behavior that most people have never once consciously examined because the fixture responsible for it has not changed significantly in over a century. Number 26. The Toto washlet toilet. The entry level, a heated seat. This alone makes every unheated seat feel like a punishment for the rest of your life. The standard unit adds bidet wash with adjustable temperature and pressure, air drying, catalytic deodorizing, automatic lid, and hands-free flush. Advanced models measure body composition and cardiovascular markers passively at every use. The most sophisticated current iteration builds a personal health baseline from daily passive measurements, flags deviations from your baseline rather than population averages, and monitors biomarkers in urine for early indicators of glucose dysregulation and kidney function changes. Every day, without a doctor's appointment, without any action beyond the visit you were making anyway. Subscribe right now if you have not already. This channel surfaces exactly this kind of knowledge. Ideas already working, already in homes, just never shown to you. Hit subscribe. Let us keep going. Number 25. The futon system. The Western bed occupies its floor space around the clock. A small room organized around a bed is a bedroom for all 24 hours. The Japanese futon folds in thirds every morning and slides into the sheer closet in under 2 minutes. The room is now a living area, a workspace, a dining space, whatever the occupant needs. The daily fold is also a neurological transition, a physical dismantling of the sleep environment that anchors the shift from sleep state to active day. Not a space-saving compromise, a superior design for the relationship between sleep, space, and the start of the day. A room that folds away its sleep function is a room that can be anything by morning. The next idea makes sure that everything in that room is always exactly where it belongs, without searching, without frustration, and without ever losing anything again. Number 24. Katachi. Every object has one specific designated place, not approximately that area. One place, always, without exception. The scissors are in this position in this drawer. The keys are on this hook, always. The average Western household spends between 12 and 30 hours per year searching for objects that have no fixed home. Katachi eliminates the search entirely, not through fewer possessions, through the single decision made once per object of where this lives and the daily practice of honoring it. Nothing is ever lost because nothing is ever without a home. Nothing is ever lost because nothing is ever without a home. The next idea gives a specific kind of object a home that most Western kitchens have never thought to provide, with a result that clears the counter and eliminates a hidden hygiene problem simultaneously. Number 23. The magnetic knife strip. The knife block consumes counter space, stores blades in sealed humid slots that accumulate residue and cannot be cleaned, and puts the most used knife at the back. A stainless magnetic strip mounts to the wall above the preparation area. Every blade is visible, individually accessible, air-dried on all surfaces between uses. The counter below is clear. The hygiene problem is eliminated. One installation, 2 problems gone. One installation, 2 problems gone. The next idea solves a problem that billions of people encounter multiple times daily and have simply accepted as part of opening things. Number 22. The onigiri 3-step wrapper. Seaweed on moist rice becomes rubbery within minutes. Japan built a wrapper that keeps them physically separated until the moment of consumption. 3 tabs. The outer wrapper splits. The left sleeve slides off. The right sleeve follows. The seaweed meets the rice for the first time as the onigiri reaches your mouth. Applied to a product sold for under $2, because even a $2 convenience store snack deserves packaging that protects its quality until the precise moment of consumption. Even a $2 snack deserves packaging engineered to protect its quality until the precise moment of consumption. The next idea applies the same precision to the appliance most households use daily, and most households have never once thought to question. Number 21. The Zojirushi Fuzzy Logic Rice Cooker. A microprocessor monitors temperature multiple times per second throughout the cooking cycle, adjusting heat output in real time through each distinct phase. Atmospheric pressure sensors recalibrate the cooking curve for altitude. The result is perfectly hydrated rice, consistent from top to bottom, with a precisely crisped base layer. Every batch, without variation, anywhere. One thing done with perfect consistency every time. One thing done with perfect consistency beats 10 things done adequately. The next idea applies that logic to an entire city's payment infrastructure and removes a friction that most people absorb without realizing the daily cost. Number 20. The IC Transit Card. Every train network, every subway line, every bus route, every vending machine, convenience store, taxi, and street vendor in any major Japanese city. One card, one tap, half a second per transaction, the entire commute from home to office, including coffee and lunch with no wallet, no cash, no app switching, no friction of any kind. One tap removes the daily accumulation of small frictions that most people absorb without realizing the aggregate cost. One tap removes the daily accumulation of small frictions. The next idea removes something far larger, the gap between what the medical system monitors and what the body is doing between appointments. Number 19. Passive health monitoring in everyday objects. The Toto toilet measures body composition and urine biomarkers daily. The Panasonic bathroom mirror measures heart rate and respiratory rate from the face of the person standing before it during the 2 minutes they were going to spend there anyway. Smart floor tiles and care facilities detect gait pattern changes that predict fall risk before the fall occurs. Sleep monitoring mattress pads track sleep architecture quality without any wearable, monitoring during activities the person is already performing. No behavioral change, no additional time, no wearable burden. Daily passive monitoring changes medicine from reactive to anticipatory. Daily passive monitoring changes medicine from reactive to anticipatory. The next idea anticipates something different, specifically the experience of buying food, by designing the retail environment around the quality of what it sells rather than the logistics of moving it. Number 18. The Deepa Chica Basement Food Hall. 40 to 60 individual vendor stalls beneath a major department store, each representing genuine expertise in its specific category. A 7th-generation pickle specialist beside a single-island dairy farm counter, beside a Japanese master patissier who trained in Lyon. Every item displayed as though it is the most important thing being offered, because in its category, within that vendor's expertise, it is. Japan built a retail environment designed not around the logistics of moving food, but around the experience of encountering food whose quality is genuinely exceptional. Exceptional food retail changes the experience of buying food entirely. The next idea changes the experience of receiving service by replacing the transactional model with something that requires only attention to work. Number 17. Omotenashi. The service model is not fulfill what the customer requests. It is observe the full situation of the person in front of you and provide what is actually needed before the asking becomes necessary. The server notices the guest glancing at the window on a cold evening and offers a warmer table. The housekeeper restores every item on the desk to the guest's specific arrangement. The cashier bags the paper item before the rain reaches the customer. None of this requires additional resources, only attention. Anticipation replaces transaction as the standard. Anticipation replaces transaction as the standard. The next idea sets a different standard for the intersection itself by treating the pedestrian as the priority rather than the interruption. Number 16. The scramble crossing. All vehicle signals turn red simultaneously. Every pedestrian signal turns green in all directions at once, forward, sideways, diagonally through the center of the intersection, in a single signal phase. At Shibuya Crossing, up to 3,000 people cross from all directions during a single 2-minute change. Japan treated walking as a priority form of urban transportation and built the intersection to reflect that priority. 3,000 people crossing simultaneously. The next idea protects something that the same 3,000 people need after they reach their destination, specifically the silence to think clearly during a long commute. Number 15. Quiet car culture. Phone calls prohibited, conversations at minimum voice level, ringtones silenced before entering. The enforcement mechanism is cultural, not regulatory. The shared social expectation is sufficiently powerful that deviation is immediately and effectively self-correcting. Japan understood that silence is not the absence of something. It is the presence of a resource that requires active protection. If the intelligence in this video is changing how you see daily life, hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need to see it. Let us get into the top 15. Number 14. Shotengai preservation. The Commercial Association of a Shotengai negotiates collectively for property terms, organizes shared events, and maintains the covered street as a specific, local, non-replicable commercial environment. The collective structure gives individual small businesses the negotiating position they could never maintain alone. The covered street is also a public space, a daily use environment where the social fabric of the neighborhood is built through regular encounter. Japan chose to protect the Shotengai as civic infrastructure, not just retail. Local retail as civic infrastructure changes changes what a shopping street means. The next idea changes what a package means by asking whether its work is truly finished the moment the product inside it is consumed. Number 13. Omotenashi, packaging philosophy. What would this material's existence look like if no value were wasted? Seed paper packaging that becomes a plant after the product is consumed. Concentrated refill pouches that use 90% less plastic than the replacement bottle. Erasable shipping labels that allow the box to be reused. Washi paper gift wrapping, beautiful enough to keep. Japan asked whether the material's work was finished when the product was consumed. The answers produced packaging systems that Western design has barely begun to explore. A package whose work continues after the product is gone creates no waste. The next idea creates something from what most systems discard: the energy of a flush, using it to power the fixture that generated it. Number 12. The Eco-Power self-generating toilet. No electrical connection to the building, no batteries. A micro hydroelectric turbine in the water supply inlet generates charge from the water flowing through it during each flush. The charge accumulates in a capacitor. The capacitor powers all electronic functions until the next flush. The energy generated by each flush precisely matches the electronic demand between flushes. A toilet that powers itself from its own flush, requiring no external energy input of any kind. A toilet that powers itself from its own flush. The next idea powers something else entirely. Specifically the improvement of every process in an organization, from the energy of the people closest to the work. Number 11. Kaizen in the workplace. Not a project, a condition. Every person at every level is expected and empowered to identify improvement opportunities in their specific area of work and implement changes below a certain threshold without managerial approval. The assembly line worker who identifies a tool placement requiring 3 fewer steps has the authority to relocate the tool and document the change. No improvement is too small, no position is too junior, no area too settled to be exempt from the question, could this be slightly better? Continuous small improvement compounds faster than periodic large initiative. Continuous small improvement compounds faster than periodic large initiative. The next idea compounds something different, the relationship between the maker and the thing being made, into a standard the rest of the world calls exceptional, and Japan calls baseline. Number 10. Monozukuri. The relationship between the maker and the made thing in which the maker accepts responsibility not just for function, but for the full experience of the person who will use it. The kikoman spout was refined until the drip was eliminated. Not reduced, eliminated. The onigiri wrapper protects texture until the precise moment of consumption. Not approximately. The washlet seat temperature is calibrated to the specific comfort requirement of the specific interaction, not generally warm. The standard is not acceptable. The standard is as good as it can possibly be. The standard is not acceptable. The standard is as good as it can possibly be. The next idea applies that standard not to a product, but to the moment of eating it, specifically the question of when. Number 9. Shun. Every food has a specific window when its flavor, texture, and nutritional density are at their maximum. Japanese food culture treats that window as the primary consideration in meal planning. A kaiseki chef serves what is at its peak during the specific week of the meal, not the season in general. The specific week. Eating at Shun connects the meal to the calendar, makes the year feel genuinely different from season to season, and produces an experience of food that year-round supply chain availability completely eliminates. Eating at the peak moment changes what food means. The next idea changes what damage means, by treating it not as a reduction in value, but as the beginning of a different kind of value entirely. Number 8. Kintsugi. A ceramic bowl breaks. Japan fills the seams with gold. The repair does not conceal the break. It makes the break the most prominent visual feature of the object. The philosophy, the history of an object, including its damage and repair, adds to its value rather than subtracting from it. An object that survived breakage and was restored with care carries something an unbroken object cannot. Evidence of survival, care, and the decision that continued existence was worth more than the convenience of replacement. Damage repaired with care adds something an unbroken object cannot carry. The next idea carries something even more powerful, the deliberate presence of nothing, and the reason its absence changes everything around it. Number 7. Empty space is not absence waiting to be addressed. It is the presence of a resource. The bare corridor between the garden and the room that shifts your mental state through the act of crossing it. The silence between notes that gives the notes their shape. The pause after a question that signals the question is being taken seriously. The empty tatami room that can be a bedroom, a dining room, a workspace, a meditation space because it has committed to being none of them permanently. The furnished room serves the function its furniture prescribes. The empty room serves any function its occupants require. Ma is the hardest idea on this list to implement because it requires sustained resistance of the force that says more is always better. Japan built a civilization that has successfully resisted that force across centuries, not by rejecting abundance, by choosing what abundance means. A room committed to emptiness serves any function its occupants require. The next idea serves a function most people search for their entire lives without knowing there is a word for what they are looking for. Number 6. Ikigai. Why are you here? Not philosophically, operationally. What specific combination of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs from you specifically, and what can sustain you, produces the reason you wake up moving towards something rather than through something. The Tessei cleaning crew bows to the train before they board to clean it. That bow is Ikigai, expressed through the specific excellence brought to specific work. The engineer who invented tactile paving for one blind friend was not designing a national infrastructure system. He was solving a specific problem with his specific capacity for a specific person he cared about. Ikigai is not the large purpose discovered through philosophical introspection. It is the small purpose enacted through daily specific action. The small purpose enacted through daily specific action. The next idea enacts something at the start of every meal that most restaurants in the world have simply never thought to offer. Number 5. The Oshibori hot towel. Before the menu, before the drink order, before any commercial transaction begins. A warm, damp towel arrives at your place. You wipe your hands. You press it against your face if the day has been long. The boundary between outside and inside, between the city and the meal, dissolves in 30 seconds. Cheap ramen shops provide Oshibori. High-end kaiseki restaurants provide Oshibori. The towel before the menu communicates one thing: comfort before transaction. That sequence is the physical expression of Omotenashi in the dining context. Comfort before transaction. The sequence changes everything that follows. The next idea changes what follows at the grocery store, specifically the moment of putting things away, with one directional rule that eliminates an entire category of waste. Number 4. The market bag. Unpacking rule: new item goes behind the existing item of the same category. Newest behind, oldest in front, every time. No labeling, no tracking, no inventory management. One directional rule applied at the single moment of unloading that was going to happen, regardless of whether the rule was applied. The oldest item is always in front. It is always used first. It never migrates to the back where it becomes invisible and expires. One placement direction eliminates an entire category of food waste. One placement direction, zero food waste from stock rotation. The next idea places you in a space that is neither inside nor outside, and what you feel there is something no other architectural feature in a Western home has ever produced. Number 3. The Ingawa. Not inside, not outside. The third condition, a narrow wooden veranda beneath the roof eave, between the shoji screens of the interior and the step down to the garden. You sit in the morning sun without full outdoor exposure. You watch rain without being enclosed. You remove shoes before entering without standing on the pathway. A space in which being between two conditions simultaneously is the entire point. Japan built the threshold between inside and outside as a habitable space rather than a passage to cross as quickly as possible. A habitable threshold between two conditions. The next idea is also between two things, between a container and a philosophy. And once you see what it actually is, you will never look at a lunchbox the same way again. Number 2. The bento box. Not a lunch container. A nutritional planning system expressed through a container. The largest compartment enforces the grain component. The second enforces the protein. The smaller compartments enforce vegetable variety. Empty compartments make nutritional incompleteness visible before the meal is assembled. Fixed compartment volume enforces portion discipline at the moment of preparation rather than at the moment of consumption when discipline is hardest. Japan built good nutritional decisions into the physical structure of the lunchbox. Good decisions built into the physical structure of the container. But the last idea on this list is not a container, not a fixture, not a system, not a philosophy. It is the single question that produced every idea above it, and it is available to anyone willing to ask it. Number 1. The question that makes every other idea possible. Every idea on this list is the answer to the same question. What would this be like if it were as good as it could possibly be? Not as good as acceptable, not as good as competitive, as good as it could possibly be. The Genkan answers that question about contamination. The Shinkansen cleaning answers it about a public vehicle. The Kikkoman spout answers it about a condiment bottle. The onigiri wrapper answers it about a $2 snack. The washlet answers it about a bathroom fixture. Katachi answers it about every object in the home. Ma answers it about empty space. Ikigai answers it about the relationship between a person and their work. Every answer required someone who refused to accept the current standard as the best possible standard, who looked at the problem and asked, what would this be like if it were as good as it could possibly be? And then answered that question with their full attention, their full capacity, and their full care. That is not a cultural secret. It is not a national characteristic that cannot be learned. It is a question, available to anyone, answered with full quality every time. That is Japan. That is what 42 ideas look like when an entire civilization decides to take the question seriously. If these 42 ideas just permanently changed how you think about the world you move through every single day, the next video is going to do the same thing to a different corner of that world. It is already waiting on the screen, to your left. Click it right now, because once you start seeing the gap between what things are and what they could be, you cannot stop. See you there.